Did you know that surveillance cameras sometimes capture images worthy of science fiction movies? Some time ago, a video taken in the American city of Moorhead in the state of Kentucky made the rounds on social networks because of a strange incident. A pale humanoid creature appeared walking with difficulty somewhere, much to the astonishment of all those who watched this video. Naturally, this started the debate among specialists of paranormal phenomena, but it must be said, these images are enough to perplex anyone who watches them for the first time. However, it is not only this strange creature that was filmed by the surveillance cameras. Many other strange and mysterious incidents are often captured by the cameras, and some images have even gone viral on the internet. Would you like to watch them? Then stay with us until the end of this video. Warning: chills guaranteed. But where does this man with the red shirt come from? There are videos that drive the viewer crazy, like this one for example.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
If you look carefully, you will be attracted by something strange and unexplained. Forget about the pretty disguise of this young woman and this little girl, because that is not what we're talking about. Instead, keep your eyes open on the passersby. Did you notice the man in the red shirt? Just 2 seconds ago, he wasn't even among the passersby. Watch this video again and you will understand that this man appeared out of nowhere, while this young woman and this little girl were walking by. Where did this guy come from? It looks like he has just emerged from another dimension. Unexplained orbs appear on security camera at Orchard Park Gym. What would you do if you learned that the gym where you usually work out was home to a bizarre phenomenon? That's exactly what the customers and staff of this gym in Orchard Park, USA must have thought. The surveillance cameras have indeed filmed strange things resembling orbs, that is to say white circular shapes like those sometimes seen in photographs, except that these orbs were not stationary. They were moving and even seemed to be dancing in the deserted room. Take a look at these pictures and tell me what you think. Could this fitness room be haunted? A video shows several sheep walking in circle for days. Have you ever seen a flock of animals walking for a long time in an endless circle? This bizarre and mysterious phenomenon was observed in Inner Mongolia, a region north of China. Several sheep were filmed walking in a circle without stopping. Even more bizarre, the walk of these sheep lasted a dozen days. But what pushed these poor animals to walk in circles without stopping? This is the question that everyone who watched this video, published by a Chinese news website, asked themselves. According to the owner of these sheep, this walk started with only a few animals. These were then joined by others, and then by others again, until they formed a large herd. The herd mentally, as they say. Some specialists have also been interested in this strange behavior and have finally come up with some answers that could explain the march of these sheep. Well, these continuous movements in a circle could be due to the fact that the animals were kept in captivity in a pen instead of being free on a meadow, and that they were perhaps demonstrating in their own way. Another hypothesis related to the health condition of these sheep was also raised. Listeriosis, a bacterial disease, was indeed a potential cause of this walk in a circle. Well, whatever the cause of this mysterious walk, the sheep eventually stopped. Fortunately, they had to after all. One wonders, however, if they did not get dizzy, but especially if it happened to them to interrupt their round at certain moments in order to eat or drink. Mysterious jellyfish-shaped object in the sky, filmed by astonished Russians. For all of us, seeing strange things appear in the sky is often a mystery. You know what I mean, right? If you have never had the opportunity to see such things in the past, a group of Russians have had this experience. In the Amur Oblast region of Russia, these people had just seen a long streak of light moving across the sky. At first, they thought it was probably a comet, but they were surprised to discover something else. Indeed, the luminous line began to change shape little by little until it took the shape of a giant jellyfish after the explosion of a luminous object. Watch this video.
павлин.
Ну все, это фига, фига. Вот это.
Никогда такого не было.
In your opinion, what could it be? These young Russians didn't know anything about it either. That's why they didn't hesitate to publish their video online, which gave rise to all sorts of speculations. Indeed, after having watched the video of this strange phenomenon, some internet users suggested that it could be a rocket that had just entered the Earth's atmosphere, while others thought it was a satellite. Obviously, the thesis of UFOs has not been discarded either. UFOs, rockets, satellites, meteorites, all the suppositions were put forward to try to determine the nature of this strange object without knowing exactly what it was. A ghost captured by security cameras in a supermarket. Have you ever seen things move by themselves without anyone's intervention? In this video, you can see it with your own eyes. This scene takes place in a supermarket. The young woman you see here is arranging some products in a shelf, when suddenly, look what happens. This strange scene is going to repeat itself again. Even this poor cat who has come down to inspect the place will not find anything and will in turn be frightened by this dubious object moving by itself. But what's going on in the supermarket? Is there really a ghost in this place, or is it just a good joke played to tease the young woman and the cat? A woman suddenly becomes possessed while shopping at the supermarket. Surveillance cameras in a supermarket, possibly in China, captured a scene that is anything but ordinary. The lady you see here was quietly doing her shopping when suddenly, look what happened to this poor woman. It was as if she had suddenly become possessed by some demonic spirit. On the video, you can clearly see her throwing her head back, shaking her body around and screaming until she is breathless, while the other customers of the supermarket try to approach her and calm her down as best they can. Strange. Very strange, don't you think? This video has been widely viewed without anyone knowing exactly what really happened to this poor lady. We hope she is doing much better since then. A woman scatters ashes that miraculously take the shape of her dog. I'm going to tell you now about a very strange thing that happened to this young woman. On this video, we can see this lady throwing a handful of ashes that suddenly take the shape of a dog, as if by magic. Watch. We can clearly understand that this young woman was scattering the ashes of her deceased dog in this watering hole, but what we find hard to believe is the shape that these ashes suddenly take in the air. Is it really the shape of a dog, or is it all just a simple photo montage to attract the attention of internet users and create a buzz on the web? What do you think about it? UFOs seen by pilots in the American sky. While flying over Missouri and the Pacific Ocean in the middle of the night, some pilots had a very strange vision. Well, these people had just spotted clearly visible lights in the distance that seemed to be flying in the dark sky. Take a look at this. The strange phenomenon was filmed by these pilots, and as you can guess, the video did not take long to make people react. Indeed, it aroused the curiosity of internet users who watched it and the media who took the phenomenon very seriously. Some people did not go by four paths. For them, these strange lights could only be UFOs, these flying objects that have often been a source of fascination and mystery for many of us. And if this video finally proved that the observation of UFOs was not a delusion, this could change a lot of things in the future, don't you think? A headless man walks down the street. What you're about to see now is beyond comprehension, because I'm sure you have never seen anything like this before. Are you sure you want to watch this video? Let me warn you, however, that you may lose your voice for a few seconds or more. Are you ready to watch it? Here it is then. You were speechless like I said, weren't you? Well, You're not the only one. Indeed, all those who saw the headless man walking quietly down the street as if nothing had happened at first thought it was a walking nightmare or a scene straight out of a horror movie. Others, however, appealed to reason, preferring to believe that this person definitely possesses a chameleon head that camouflages itself well in the surrounding atmosphere. But there's not only this explanation which could be plausible. What if this headless man was an illusionist who managed to make his head disappear by some means or to make it invisible to the eyes? This could be the case, and in this case, this person will have really succeeded in catching the attention. Indeed, this mysterious scene has brought out a great flood of questions and comments, especially since, strangely enough, the video does not seem to be faked. Now that you have been able to speak again, what would you say about this phenomenon that seems paranormal? An Egyptian statue moves by itself in a museum. An object that moves by itself? This is a crazy thing that is quite impossible in your own opinion, unless it is an automation. Are you sure? What if I told you that there are objects that can move by themselves even if they are not automata? Do you find this hard to believe? Here is a proof. You see the statue? Well, it is able to move by itself. Look. Whoa, incredible! And yet, it is not an optical illusion. Thanks to an accelerated video, it turned out that this ancient Egyptian statue, dating from 1800 BC, and which is in a museum in Manchester, was able to turn 180-degree counterclockwise. This mysterious phenomenon did not only attract the attention of the museum curator, but it also perplexed the scientists. One of them, however, tried to come up with some logical explanations for this mysterious phenomenon. Well, since it happens only during the day, the movements of the statue would be due to vibrations that are caused by the steps of the visitors of the museum or by some other factor like a card or a train that passes in front of the museum during the day. Well, everything is possible, but this hypothesis would have to be confirmed, because in fact, the statue had never moved before. Strange. So it would be a long time before we could solve this mystery. A ghost filmed on the roof of a house in India. The inhabitants of Varanasi, India, recently experienced a great fright, probably the biggest fear of their lives. The cause? A strange and terrifying phenomenon that was filmed and whose video made the rounds of social networks for the greatest misfortune of these people. In your opinion, what could have terrified all these people to the point of making some of them sick? Well, I'm not going to make you wait any longer because I'm sure you're dying to see it, so check it out. Jeez, scary, isn't it? Seeing a ghost draped in white, walking on the roof of a house in the middle of the night is enough to give goosebumps to each of these poor inhabitants. Obviously, the police of Varanasi finally intervened and conducted their investigation in order to elucidate the mystery of this apparition. And of course, the answer was not long in coming. Well, according to the authorities, it was a man who had chosen to play a bad trick on the inhabitants by pretending to be a ghost. That's it. If this answer has somewhat reassured the inhabitants of Varanasi, how to explain, however, that this tall figure can walk in perfect balance on this roof without risking falling? A mystery. In my opinion, many people still find it hard to believe in a bad joke from a man and still believe that it was indeed a ghost. Well, not sure that the inhabitants of Varanasi can one day forget this vision of horror. A haunted hotel. Did you know that even ghosts can stay in hotels? Now, that's a good joke. Of course you don't believe it, but it's the truth. The proof is in this picture that was taken in a haunted hotel located in Colorado. The man who took this picture said that he doesn't remember seeing anyone there while he was handling his camera. This means that this creature only appeared in the photo. That's very strange. Tell me, what would you do if you came face to face with a ghost in a hotel? Would you extend your stay, or would you pack up and run away? A tourist sees ghosts on a road. What's the strangest thing you've ever seen on the road while driving? If you've never seen anything weird on the road until now, that's not the case for the author of this video. While driving on a road in Pennsylvania during the night, this driver suddenly spotted something strange and scary at the same time. It wasn't a pack of wolves or an elephant that came out of nowhere to block his path, but something much more frightening. Do you have any idea what it was? No? Then look. But what is that? They look like ghosts, don't they? Well, we can clearly see that they are transparent creatures with a humanoid shape that have fun jumping on these tanks. It could be because the video was taken at the Gettysburg Civil War battle site in Pennsylvania, a place that is considered one of the most haunted places in America. Could it be the ghosts of some of the soldiers who died on this ancient battlefield? Maybe it is. A door opens and closes by itself in a hospital in Kuala Lumpur. Get ready now to see a scene full of mystery that took place in Malaysia in one of the hospitals in Kuala Lumpur. The author of this video was in the intensive care unit when he was surprised to see a very strange incident. Do you want to see what he saw? Watch a door that opens and closes by itself several times without anyone's intervention. It's not normal, of course. For this patient, but also for most of those who saw the strange scene, there is only one explanation. This door is haunted. Period. Others, on the other hand, will go further in their speculations by affirming that an invisible creature was having fun opening and closing this door, or that it came to visit this poor patient who must have had a good fright. Well, these kinds of paranormal scenes usually only take place in horror movies, don't they? A haunted school. Now, I'm going to tell you about another supposedly haunted place, which surveillance cameras have captured some very strange moments. It happened a few years ago in Ireland, in a school. It must have been 3 a.m. when strange things started happening in one of the corridors of this school. Look what happened. Whoa, who could have thrown that back, ripped down that poster, pulled that chair, tossed those notebooks, and violently shaken that locker? Certainly not a student, because as you can see, there was no one in the school at that time. Everything leads us to believe that another creature was behind this chaos, and that this creature must have been very angry. One wonders what state the school was in when the students and their teachers returned the next day. It seems, however, that this scene is quite real and cannot be the result of a prank, as some believed at first. In fact, the school's custodian, who has been working at the school for several years, said that he had witnessed paranormal scenes in the past. These frightening and quite disturbing images have made the rounds of the web, and there is no doubt that they have given goosebumps to the school children and their parents. Wow, here's a good reason to skip school for a while. A baby possessed. Let me ask you a question. At what age did you learn to stand up? That's a question, you might say. Although this question may seem a bit trivial or crazy to you, there is nothing trivial or crazy about it. You will understand this when you watch the video I am about to show you. In this video, we can see a baby of maybe just a few months old standing on the bed rail in perfect balance. How did he do it? Watch. The video was taken by a surveillance camera placed in a corner of his room, and the least we can say is that it must have caused great concern to his poor parents. Seeing their baby in this state and hearing her screaming like that, they probably thought their child might be possessed. I'm also sure that you do not have the words to describe the scene you just saw. A little girl pulled out of her bed by an invisible force. Have you ever had a dream while you were sleeping that someone was violently pulling you out of bed by your foot? If you have ever had the misfortune to have this nightmare at night, other people have unfortunately experienced this in reality, like this little girl. As you can see on this video, this little girl is sleeping peacefully, but look what happens next. Terrifying. The child woke up just in time to realize that someone was pulling her by the foot to take her somewhere far from her room. But who was it? Just by seeing her sliding on the floor like that, with her right leg raised, we can only say that this child was pulled out of her bed by a ghost, a supernatural creature, an invisible force. Or could it be a fake video that was shot to fool people? If it is the case, then everyone will have been played a bad trick, including this poor little girl. Anyway, the scene left no one indifferent. And I'm pretty sure that many people had trouble sleeping in their rooms at night. Yes, we still wonder how this kind of thing can happen. A security guard talks to an invisible creature in an Argentinian hospital. What you're about to see now will give you a hard time. In Argentina, a man, probably a security guard, working in a hospital, received a patient while he was on duty at night. Take a look at what this patient looks like. You don't see anyone either, do you? From what we can see on this video, this agent is talking to an invisible creature. Now, that's strange. Not only did he greet this invisible creature, but he also talked to it, invited it to sit in a wheelchair, and pushed its chair. How then can we explain this curious incident? Either this man is the only one who can see this invisible creature, or he is a sleepwalker who fell asleep while on duty and saw himself greeting an emergency patient at night. Better yet, this agent may have been bored, alone, so he came up with the idea of playing a trick on everyone by pretending to talk to an invisible creature. Knowing that the surveillance cameras would capture his action, yes, but how to explain the door that opens by itself? It can't be a simple draft after all. I told you this video was going to be a pain in the ass. Where did this one come from? And finally, here is another mind-blowing vision that would be very difficult to explain. See that van driving by? Wait a few seconds, and you'll see something else that will certainly catch you off guard. Whoa! Where did that man come from? You would have sworn that this person was not there a few seconds ago. Could it be that he was in the vehicle and jumped out at some point to appear like that, as if he had just appeared out of nowhere? Maybe so, or maybe the man was already on the road when the van passed by, narrowly missing him and perhaps hitting him. It remains to be seen if a photo montage is not hidden behind this video that drives crazy those who watch it. Indeed, we can see this mysterious scene again and again, but we can't guess what happened exactly.